Hello everyone, this is First Lady B. McWright, and today we will be discussing Fairfax County, Virginia and the recent decision made by their school county board. As some of you may know, on May 7th, the Fairfax County School Board of Education recently decided in a 10-to-1 vote to add gender identity to their non-discrimination policy. The Fairfax School Board of Education voted to expand protections in the non-discrimination policy to transgender students and faculty, despite vocal opposition from hundreds of people who were in attendance. The meeting was actually held at Luther Jackson Middle School, which was filled to capacity with about 500 people in attendance. I received a phone call and some inboxes asking my views and opinion on this, and I have also been reading and doing some research on what does this mean exactly. Now, for those of you who have followed my blogs and looked at my videos, you know and understand that as for me and my household, we do not support nor do we condone homosexual, transgender, transsexual lifestyle of any nature. We don't, because of our religious beliefs, because of our biblical beliefs. We believe, as the Bible says, that homosexuality is an abomination. But in that same sentence, I would like to say that although we do not condone it, we do not condone any type of abuse or mistreatment of anyone, no matter what their lifestyle, no matter what their beliefs, no matter who they are. So at first glance, for them to add the transgender students to the non-discrimination policy, from the outside looking in, you would think that this is not a problem, but it actually goes deeper than that. What many people do not understand is that this non-discrimination policy does not stop just at a person who's transgender to be protected from being bullied or harassed. This also gives them the ability to use the same bathroom or even locker facilities of whatever sex or gender that they relate to. So if a boy is born a boy and he's transgender and he identifies as a girl, he would then also be allowed to use the same bathroom facilities as girls. This is where the problems are beginning to arise. I don't have a problem with anyone being protected from being bullied or harassed or abused or mistreated. But this does not stop at that. It goes further than this. With this gender identity being added to the non-discrimination policy, the next step is to also have it added to the school's curriculum. There is speculation that parents will not have the option to opt out of their children being involved in this particular curriculum. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the definition of these terms, here they are. When it comes to gender identity, that is actually what you relate to. Or do you relate as a female or a male? When it comes to sexual orientation, that actually relates to who you choose to have sex with and how you choose to have sex with them. What we're looking at is gender identity. Once it becomes the norm as a part of non-discrimination policies within our school system, it eventually being added to the school curriculum or the health curriculum. Now, once it's added to the health curriculum, then parents will no longer have the option to opt their child out of that particular teaching. It will become a requirement, and these requirements are a little scary. Through what I found in my research, once gender identity is successfully added into the school's curriculum, this is what we're looking at our children actually being taught at school. As young as kindergartners, will be taught about same-sex and gay marriage. Once they get into the 4th grade, then we're looking at them being taught about incest. 8th graders will learn more about oral and anal sex. And for example, they will be using the whole Bill Clinton incident. Now back to the Fairfax County School Board of Education. In their 10-to-1 vote, Elizabeth Schultz was the only board member to vote against the measure. And as a matter of fact, she said the vote was about the privacy, her vote was about the privacy of the vast majority of the students and the staff in the school system. As a parent, this is the problem that I'm having, because I have children too. I will feel uncomfortable with my child having to share a locker room with someone who is actually of the opposite sex, but chooses to identify, and I'm using the word choose because it is a choice. You may not agree with me, that may not be your personal belief, but this is my belief as a Christian. I personally, and I've discussed this with my children and many other children, have a problem with someone of the opposite sex possibly sharing the same restroom with my child. A lot of things are not being addressed in this topic matter. What about the transgender people who were born male, chose to identify as female, only to revert back to male later on in life? What about those cases as well? Trying to force students and their parents to accept something that we simply do not believe in is an infringement upon our rights as well. The government is slowly robbing us as parents of our ability to parent and lead our children by including programs in the curriculum that are going to go against what we're teaching our children at home. And this is what baffled me even more. According to transgenderlaw.org, an estimated 2 to 5% of the population is transgender. And when they say transgender, they put in parentheses, experience some degree of gender dysphoria. The number of people who identify as transsexual and undergo sex reassignment is even smaller. Elizabeth Schultz, the one board member who chose to vote against the measure, made a powerful statement that was quickly overlooked. And this is what she said. She said it is about the right of 99.7% of all students, all teachers, and all employees to retain their right to privacy, safety, and dignity. Let's just change the policy to 2 words: don't discriminate. So they are infringing upon our rights as parents, as students, and law-abiding citizens who pay their taxes based on 2 to 5% of the population. Prior to making this video, I spoke with a few parents in order to get their viewpoints on this subject matter. And for the most part, most parents are not in agreement with something of this nature coming to their respective school system. But there are a few out there who didn't quite understand what was going on. With hearing non-discrimination, their original thought was, okay, I have no problem with it. You know, I know what I teach my children at home, so it really doesn't matter. But what we don't realize is it actually goes beyond that. We as Christians, and I've heard this term used several times, especially with the church, we need to wake up. We are the hugest sleeping giant there is in this nation. We need to wake up and pay attention to what's going on. Another thing that we are failing to realize is under the surface, we are already supporting the laws that we are not having to fight. Every time we support something that entertains or encourages homosexual or transgender living. For those of you who are watching Scandal and watching Empire,
the fact that Scandal has a 2nd season means that we now live in a world where we want our lead actors, we want our heroes, we want our protagonists to be all different races and genders, socioeconomic backgrounds, gay, straight, all of it.
Yes.
All of
it. This is a job for me, it's adrenaline, my punches are waving, I'm breaking your car.
You are actually supporting those who are paving the way to create laws that's going to force feed homosexual agenda down our throats. So we really need to reevaluate what we allow in our households, what we entertain, and what we allow our families to entertain. Start talking to your children. Start paying attention to who's on your school board. Start paying attention to the leaders that are going on in your city and the rules that they're trying to implement. Start reading your school policies. Start being a voice in the community for what's right. Now, this is not a hate speech. This is not me trying to put anybody down, but this is me with my belief. For those of you who support the homosexual agenda, you have your right to voice your views. I have my right to voice mine, like many others. The church today has been bullied into a corner. We're afraid to speak out now. Well, let me change that. Most church people, not me, are afraid to speak out now because they don't want to be deemed as homophobic. They don't want to be deemed as judgmental. They don't want to be deemed as over-religious. So they get into their quiet corners and they whisper their disagreements among themselves. But we've got to stand up and we've got to speak out. It is time that we step up and protect our children, because now this is something that not only is being force-fed down our throats in our workplaces, but now they're going in and they're talking to our children about it. Parents, it is time that we get involved with our school system and know what's going on. Know your board members, know their backgrounds, know about their family life, know about their personal views, know about their political views, know everything about them. Even the Bible tells us to know them that labor among you. This is how we are going to be able to make the right decisions, to make informed decisions on how to vote and how to stir our children and which direction we are to take for our family. Before I will allow anyone to force feed this down my children's throat, government, school system, I don't care who you are. My husband and I will pull our children out and homeschool them ourselves. And I suggest that we as parents, as Christian parents, start staying in the now or in the know of what's going on and preparing ourselves, talking to our children and getting their insight on what's going on behind school doors so that we can be better prepared to handle any problems that may come up, or be better prepared to address any situations that may come up, and not be afraid to voice our concerns, voice our belief, and voice our stance without fear. It is important, church, that we realize it is okay to stand up for what we believe in. No longer will we be bullied into the corner where we feel like we have to be quiet on the subject matter. No, I do not agree with your lifestyle. No, I would not mistreat you because that's your lifestyle of choice. But no, you would not force feed it on me or my family. That is my stance, and I would not change it no matter what you say or no matter what you do. This has been First Lady B. Mac Wrights. I hope this has been a blessing for you all. You all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.